All right, welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming News. What's on the news tonight? More disappointment in the gaming world, in my opinion. All right, before we jump into this article, make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, notifications, all that good stuff that helps keep you up to date to things we like to talk about, video games. All right, here we go. AI prompts will soon let a 10-person team build a game like Breath of the Wild, where the AI is doing all the dialogue and you just write character synapses. Tim Sweeney predicts. Tim Sweeney, the little weenie. Epic Games boss Tim Sweeney believes small teams will soon be able to use AI prompts to make video games on the scale of Nintendo's masterpiece, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Speaking at Epic State of Unreal 2025 event, where CD Projekt Red revealed a stunning Witcher 4 tech demo, which I highly recommend you watch. It looked really good. Really good. Sweeney said AI prompts will be a fundamental part of the game engines and will result in entirely new genres and games invented that weren't possible or practical before without it. Every significant advance in technology has led to the rise of new games, Sweeney said, like the swimming fish. I remember 3D gaming just became possible, and then Doom and Wolfenstein introduced the 3D shooter. The battle royale genre itself only became possible when you had enough performance on hardware and engines that you could have 100 players in a single play space. AI characters giving you the possibility of infinite dialogue with a really simple setup for creators means small teams will be able to create games with immense amounts of characters and immense is the way this reads, immense and interactive worlds. What would it take for a 10-person team to build a game like Zelda Breath of the Wild, in which the AI is just doing all the dialogue and you're just writing some character synapses? That's totally going to be within reach over the next few years. Sweeney's enthusiasm around AI is no secret, of course, and Epic's games all in. AI Darth Vader, people, look it up. And a first for the all-encompassing battle royale. He can serenade you, join and leave squads, respond intelligently to the player, issue impromptu dialogue, so on and so forth. Darth Vader, originally voiced by James Earl Jones, the AI version of his voice, powered by Google's Gemini 2.0 Flash model and 11 Labs Flash version 2.5, is used with the Jones family's permission. So it sparked debate that AI did when basically Darth Vader got a little racist, a little sexist, and all that. You guys really should look it up. It's pretty damn funny. AI is something I am not really becoming a fan of for the most part. It scares me just because of the people aspect of it. But I'll jump into that later. These guys are tech guys, so we're going to let them kind of preach what they think about the AI tech part of this, I guess. I hate this. So, Pat, what do you think, Pat? Do you think AI, because we just talked about small game teams, developer teams, 10, 20, 30, creating some amazing freaking worlds. And they didn't have the AI to do this, at least that I know of. So what do you think, Pat?
I'm all for enhancing an individual's abilities, right, to do more with this. And that's the way I look at AI. I look at AI as an enhancement to an individual, or, what I don't want for AI to be is to be the replacement, right? I can run now with, instead of having 30-person staff, I can run a 10-person staff because I don't need a voice actor, I mean, in some instances I could see, like I said, we talked about this in the other episode, but I could say like a small indie studio will benefit over this a lot more. And then as larger studios see these indie studios, they're going to downsize their crew and do this, which means that people are losing their jobs. So it's a double-edged sword, as Shane had mentioned before. It's a tool. In my eyes, AI is an equalizer tool. The very small companies can equalize their workforce to the larger corporations to compete. Because now they can enhance their work efforts. I mean, AI can do just about anything for you. Like I've used AI to write code for me, because I'm not a developer. I cannot write code. I don't write code. I can script a little bit as I need to get by and do things. I can do some Transact SQL stuff, but for the most part, I can ask AI to do it for me. I can ask AI to write me a select statement with different types of joins and stuff. And then I just take that statement, pop in my own tables and everything that I need and have it do what I need it to. I have had it write Python code for me for some AI stuff. Because, heck, even when you're using like Gemini can write the code to do the function in Gemini for you. You can ask it to write the code to run itself. You're just like, you're just telling it what you're prompting it, but the prompt can also generate the code for you that will help you codify what you are prompting for. Especially once you get that perfect prompt down, you're like, I want the code for that so that I can repeat that without having to, go through all these prompts again. I can take the code that was generated from the prompt in Python or whatever it was generated in and save that code snippet. And then when I want to replicate it, I can just run that again with maybe a different set of parameters. So it helps the individual, but in helping the individual, it has a negative effect of helping the company reduce staff. Unfortunately, hopefully it's an ethical company that will work through attrition and not through downsizing. Like we're just going to get rid of jobs. That's so in my opinion, that's a little bit better. It's still not a good thing, right? Because if you're a 30 or 50 person team and somebody leaves, they're like, well, we're just not going to backfill the position. We're going to help the team by enhancing their abilities with AI. So it's a double-edged sword. Part of me gets behind it. I enjoy AI. I use AI a lot in what I do, personal and at work. I use AI in editing some of these videos, generating notes, generating summaries. Shane uses them for some video stuff, or some image stuff. I mean, it's immensely helpful in enhancing the workforce abilities. Like it does some stuff that I just don't have the time to learn, or just to help make it easier for me and quicker. Like it can generate code, it can generate dialogue summaries faster than I can, more efficiently. You just got to proofread it because it's not perfect. What we use on this solution, which we use Riverside to record for us, it's consumerish grade. I've seen a lot better grades in other solutions, but for the most part, it does a good job. I just have to proofread what it puts out, which everybody should do with AI. AI is not perfect enough to just let it do its thing and move on. You need to proofread, scrutinize the images. Shane and I just had a funny laugh at one of the images that it generated for him, and it doesn't know the difference between the word 2 and the number 2, right?
Yep.
It just put it in there. If you're not paying attention, then you look like the goober, right? You're just like, yeah, I did that. But to everybody else is like, well, you put that out there. It's on you, right? So it's just one of those things where AI is a tool and it's a workforce multiplier is how I look at it. And I enjoy the AI stuff. I love seeing what it can do. I've been to many conferences on this stuff to use, and I go to those conferences in a professional and personal manner for, I look at things that are for my professional career, but then I'm like, I take those things and I put it into my personal life, what I do in personal. I mean, I use AI to go through my email. I'm a long-winded typer in email, and I know this, and I use AI to remove all the fluff because I'm like, I use a lot of descriptive words that I don't need to, right? It's part of the whole process of I'm very technical, and sometimes I feel like I have to explain the technicals away when I'm talking to an audience, and so I use AI to help me do that. So like I said, I enjoy it, and I think it's a very useful tool, but it can be abused. Because when we were playing Helldivers, I watched the guy. I looked at the tutorial from the guy who used voice tutorials in voice AI to replicate the Helldivers button pushes. So all he had to do was speak into his mic and just trigger something, and it would do. The AI would speak in a voice generated AI voice to respond to him, while the underlying code would punch the buttons for him. Right. So There's tons of uses for it. Lots of very unique, lots of very humanity beneficial uses for it, such as like
medical
research, helping design things for people that aren't that are disabled. So there's lots of uses for it. But just like anything, it can be abused. Government's always 10 steps behind new technology, and sometimes the government oversteps, which is probably what's going to happen to this. But I do believe that some type of regulations need to be put into place, because if not, we're going to have mass job replacement from this in the future, probably near future. And our economy is not going to be able to handle that, because now you're going to have people that aren't able to work because their chosen field is being replaced by this. And what are we going to do then? Now that person's going from making, we're not going to say a middle class or a rich person. Let's just say you make $50,000 a year, and that replaces you, and now you have no other skills to fall back on. You're going to be working some $30,000 a year job or less, because you have nothing else to go until you bounce back from that. But at the same time, that has set you back in life. So I can understand that this is going to be a problem, but the public needs to be notified. In my opinion, the biggest thing that can be done now is notification laws. Just like anytime you buy a game or a movie, they have a rating system that says, hey, this is rated R because it has sex and nudity or violence and gore or whatever. AI generated media should come with a notice on it that says this contains AI generated media. So if this game was created with AI, there needs to be a rating system that says, hey, this one was AI helped write code, AI did voices, AI did script writing. There needs to be I think there needs to be some type of notification system. That way, if you're one of those people who are anti-AI, which they're out there, to each their own, you can decide if you want to participate and buy that game or buy that movie or see that movie or listen to that music because it was AI generated. You're like, I don't want any part of that. Right now, you don't know, because there's no requirements to tell you. I've noticed a lot of subreddits and things like that and different forums have come out and said, we don't allow AI generated art on our site. We don't allow AI generated writing prompts. We don't allow anything AI related, and they'll kick you out of the channel for it. So I think that notification systems probably should be the first step, some type of rating system. Like there's a level 1 through 10 AI system. Like this is a level 1, and level 1 contains these things. And then level 2 contains these 3, so on and so forth. Or, it may not be that. Maybe it's a level 1 through 4 with sub, like a 1.A is this and a 1.C is this, minimal versus how much AI is in your stuff. So that's what I think should happen as a notification thing. But like I said, AI is going to unfortunately reduce workforce because it can enhance what an individual can do. So a task that used to take you an hour, I mean, like I use AI in our video editing for this. What used to take me 30 to 45 minutes an episode, AI helps me do in like 15, 20. I mean, it is more than half the amount of time I had to put into edit an episode. So things like that. It saves a lot of time. So Nick, what do you think, man? I don't know how much you involved in AI and stuff you do these days, but what do you think about a video game that has a lot of AI written? Do you want to be notified of that, or do you not care?
I would like to be notified of it. I mean, I agree with you. I think I look at AI as a tool that can help benefit the user to do things better or faster or quicker or whatever, right? But it shouldn't be a replacement, right? And especially when it comes to video games, like my problem with that is like, if you want to use AI to do certain steps when creating the game to make those steps quicker, or, maybe there's steps that don't really require a lot of creativity or anything like that. There's, steps that every game has to do certain functions or whatever, and you want to use AI for that, that's cool. As long as it does a good job of doing that, right? Mm-hmm. But whenever my problem with Tim Sweeney's whole thing is like, I feel like whenever you, I don't know, it's like AI can create creative things, sure, but it's the creativity of the human mind that really brings about unique experience, right? If you could, I don't know, you would have to see, but I mean, like, I don't know if AI could replicate, at least starting out. Maybe one day it would, but I don't know if it could replicate like the creativity of a group of individuals, right? Collaborating and coming together to create something, right? Could it create something like Expedition 33, right? I mean, I don't know, right? I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, maybe one day, but that was the embodiment of individuals coming together with passion and focus and creativity to create something super special. And if that game doesn't win just about every Game of the Year award this year, I'm gonna riot. But and that's just the thing, right? It's that's the thing that worries me about AI in the future, when it comes to gaming, as well as other aspects of society, right? And like you said, Pat, it needs to be regulated. It's nice to have as a tool. I just don't want it as a replacement. I don't, because the way I see it is companies are going to look at it like, cool, we can just get rid of 60% of our workforce and replace it with AI. Like, who gives a crap how it comes out? We're just going to have a bunch of like Wii shovelware sitting out there. But hey, we release a game every month, right? A new Call of Duty release every month because AI builds a new one, right? Or some crap like that, or microtransactions, right? AI just builds out microtransactions all the time. So a game always has content, but it's just AI churning out the same shit over and over, right? Or whatever. Just different variations of gun skins and crap like that, right? So that's my problem is I could see it becoming without any sort of regulation or without any sort of like
oversight,
it just becomes, it can become, I should say, like I said, the Wild West of AI, where it just runs rampant. And we have AI in everything, and then everything becomes corrupted in a sense where it's a mess. It becomes a mess, right? And that's where that's the only thing that I see that not necessarily scares me, but just like I'm afraid can happen, right? If we don't nip it in the bud before it gets there. And right now we're not, right? We're not doing anything about it. So it's like, we need to do something because it can go bad, right? I could see it being useful, and I know it is, but you've got to make sure it stays on the straight and narrow. Otherwise it's going to become a problem.
AI is a tool. Tools can be used for good things, bad things. And my concern is most of what you hear about AI right now, at least, what I hear, is all about businesses, corporations, things like that, how it's going to benefit them. But what they don't tell you in these things is what it does to people. Like you guys said, AI could help me, and I work in architecture field. AI could help me greatly. But at one point, it's going to start taking my job. Why pay me to run this program when it's so advanced now? All they got to do is type in 3-story building, make it look like a Mexican villa, with 3
or why
bedrooms.
pay you as much, right?
Exactly.
But, like, we still need you around, but we need you to babysit the AI, right? And we're going to pay you half the amount or a third of the amount.
And I don't know about your guys' jobs. I know you guys are in the computer field with doing computery things. that's how technical I am. But I worry about not just my job, but your guys' jobs. I worry about my kids' futures. Jasmine, for instance, my middle child, she wants to be a music teacher. Well, hell, AI is going to take over the education field eventually.
Think about entry jobs, right? They always say like McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, like that is like entry level jobs for young kids, teenagers, or whatever, young adults to get into the work field and then kind of go from there. But they're already introducing like not just AI, but also robots that are pretty much doing 90% of the work, right? They kind of started doing that. You've seen the AI servers that take the, we went to
Florida,
they had that robot
delivering the drinks and ice cream.
Yeah,
that's right.
So, and I think they have one here that has
they do down the road here from my house. They have a little robot, and they have one at that little sushi place there by the 360 church BS thing. So it's scary. It really is. And I know I'm old. I don't like change. I don't lie about that. I don't like a lot of things that's happening in the world. But this scares me, not just because of what it's doing to the video game industry, which I really worry about. Me and Pat were talking about AI with voice acting prior. And Pat, I absolutely agreed with what he said, but it doesn't mean it doesn't scare the shit out of me about where the limitations of law would go for AI in a voice acting realm. Pat's great point. A startup, any developer, they don't got a lot of money, but they got the passion, and AI is a great tool to help them with dialogue or, maybe cutscenes or whatever. But my concern is what it does to the people factor. So it's a double-edged sword. I don't want to see me or anybody else lose their job because somebody decided to save a few bucks. And a lot of jobs can be done with AI. A lot of jobs can be done with robots. I mean, changing your tires. There's places in Japan, basically you roll in and you're done. I mean, it's like NASCAR shit going on, and it's all done with computers. So
just like that movie Cars, right?
Just like the movie Cars.
Well, I mean, it's just
by
like
the way,
anything,
they killed all the people and the cars took over. I hope that's the real story behind
It's just like anything, right? What a small company can use to could be a workforce multiplier for. A large corporation needs to iterate on that, or they become extinct. I mean, that's unfortunate the way it works, right? If a small business, a small company can do something more efficiently than a large company will, they will eventually grow and take over the business that those large companies did because they can do it faster and cheaper. So that large company still just needs to iterate on what that small company is doing and pivot, which then reduces the workforce for them. Either they're expanding and they need to keep the people on for
or replicate what that small business does at a larger scale, right?
Or they just buy them up. Musk was trying to buy up that one AI developer, and then there was another one trying to buy up that Chinese developer, that AI
the one that stole all the assets from the Microsoft group or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So
Blue Whale or Blue something, I can't remember what it was.
Somebody blew. It's ridiculous what AI can do in so many good and bad ways. It needs to be monitored. It needs to have regulations like you're talking about, Pat. No video should be allowed to be played on any streaming device, any television that
without a warning
that has AI without the label of AI.
Remember those old FBI warnings? They just bring those back for the AI.
Well, exactly.
You have notifications now when you watch TV. It's like this show is rated TV 14 because of violence and this and that. I mean, so it would just be another one of those things. This is rated TV 14 AI 1.
But there's some people even right now, and AI is really neat and good right now. But there's some people who can't tell the difference still right now.
I mean, their scammers are utilizing this.
Yeah, there was a politician. It was a picture of him at a barbecue, and it was like pushing down on the freaking burger with his finger on the grill, and people like, he's such a good person. Look at him. He's going to be on fire in 3 seconds if that was really, you idiot. I mean, people can't get it now. Can you imagine in 2 years when AI is just so freaking realistic when they do these images?
Well, I mean, AI is there today. Whether people want to believe it or not, like there are, you hear about new AI scams all the time. The most recent one I heard was that there are people that are using AI for job interviews because a lot of jobs are hiring remote, especially in the tech industry. So they have a AI video of not them applying for the job on a Teams call, and it is answering the questions in their voice. And that way they can Google the answers, and the people that are interviewing them, because people are doing Teams interviews, so they can see what you're doing when they're asking you the questions. Because if you're Googling something, you might be looking at your phone, you might be typing and looking at another monitor, because they'll be like, hey, don't look away, don't look at another monitor. Because it's really easy this day to cheat, especially in a technical interview. They can say, hey, what type of SQL statement would you do to find out this? And you could Google it, and it'll just, and they would know because they can see you looking. But if you're using an fake AI model to look at the screen, and what these people are doing is they're actually applying for these jobs, collecting paychecks and not doing any work, and then getting fired after a couple of weeks because they don't have the actual knowledge to do the job. But they're just getting a free paycheck, out of this company before this company has to fire them, or they get the company to ship them the equipment, and then they go radio silence and sell the equipment. And I mean, and AI is out there, and it is fooling large corporations, small businesses. I mean, people are using AI to scam old people, young people out of their set life savings. I mean, I saw a scam where people are using AI of voice sampling somebody's relative off of a YouTube video or something. And then they call up pretending to be that person's relative and saying, hey, my car broke down. I need you to pay the tow truck driver. Can you call the tow truck driver at this number or call this company at this number and pay to get my car towed? My phone's dead, so I had to use their phone to call you. And it sounds just like that person's relative. And, AI can do a lot right now. And so you have to be extra diligent in everything you do, especially when somebody is trying to get money out of you and pushing a sense of urgency with it. Anytime somebody's trying to get money out of you and there's a sense of urgency behind it, you have to question everything about that. Like if somebody calls pretending to be your mom, your son, your grandson, your daughter, your dad, whatever, and they're like, you need to send money to this, and they say, I'm using this phone number because my phone's dead, I would still just call their damn number and get on and be like, call their cell phone and be like, hey, did you just call me, need money for a tow? And they're like, no. Make sure that you are checking in with people. Don't fall for these scammers. A true company will never ask you for gift cards. They'll never ask you for Bitcoins or any type of crypto these day and age. And the sense of urgency is always something to be worried about when somebody is scamming you, because there's a sense of urgency. You got to do it now. It's going to expire tomorrow. We're going to put you in jail or something. Sense of urgency is always the first clue this is a scam.
Yeah. And just remember, the FBI and the IRS do not accept Target gift cards,
or Amazon gift cards or iTunes gift cards.
And one thing, just real quick before we go, don't answer scam likely calls. That's where they're getting your voice samples from. I literally, Pat, I read that today at lunch. There was a little article that came across. That's why scam likely calls are getting really ridiculous. They're just all over.
If you don't know you don't recognize the number, let it go to voicemail.
Yeah, because it used to be you see a scam likely or unknown, you could answer it and just yell, "I'm going to find your house," and shove a gerbil up your butt. You can't do that now because they're going to sample that and they're going to call your parents or your sisters or brothers or your best friends and say, "Hey, I'm in jail now. Can you come and get me before they shove a rabbit up my butt?" AI ain't that smart yet, so you still get the rabbit. But it's going to get to that point, and if you keep giving them the tools like answering to that, that's what's causing a lot of the problems. My wife gets them all the frickin' time, and I told her to stop because she used to enjoy tell them to F off and stuff, but now we don't even answer because it's scary.
Yeah, don't answer them because they're gonna just sample your voice and use that. Sample your likeness.
Yep, I may not even be here. I may be AI. I may be Max Headroom 2.0.
Well, I mean, this goes into the whole thing where, like, you kind of touched on it, where Epic is now, they did the whole Darth Vader thing. They're now going to do it to where you can create your own AI stuff in the video game. They're going to release the technology for you to create your own self in the game.
I'm all for, and Nick, you'll remember this because you used my camera, putting ourselves in Rainbow Six Vegas with the Microsoft camera. And that was fun. That was great. Shooting each other in the face. It's like, it's you, boom, boom. That's fun. And that's technology that doesn't take away. It only enhances. The problem I have with AI is I'm worried it's going to take away more than it's going to enhance. I don't feel it's going to be an equal trade.
Well, you'll reach a saturation point, and what I mean by saturation point is you will reach a above equilibrium point. And what I mean by equilibrium point is the beneficial point and the harmful point. And the beneficial point is where it hasn't displaced enough to affect the economy. And the majority of people are still able to live a normal lifestyle. And it hasn't disrupted things like that, but you'll reach a point to where AI has taken over too much things. And now the majority of the economy isn't able to fend for themselves. They're unable to get it. They're unable to feed their families, unable to afford rent, unable to afford the necessities, which is a sad way of looking at it, because until you pass that equilibrium point, there is this portion of society that is suffering because of it, because their
nothing will more than likely be done until you reach that point.
Right. Until you reach that saturation point, that over the extended equilibrium point where you pass that point of where the majority of society is now being harmed by it. Yeah. And then that point is too late, right? Because now you had the people that have suffered for the most amount of time and are below poverty line and all this stuff. And now you have a majority of your population going through that. And now all the benefits of AI aren't going to amount to anything because the people can't afford to consume the goods that AI is helping to improve or make better in life. Yeah. So you have to approach that subject before it happens. And I don't know what that answer is. Is that a universal salary? I don't know what that answer is, right? I don't know. If AI can make money without people, then you're probably going to have to do some type of universal salary. But at the same time, you have greedy corporations out there who are not going to be into that or anything, because they're like, hey, I built this AI model to improve my profits, not pay out to take care of somebody. It's like you improved your profits by eliminating jobs and eliminating your workforce. So who's going to buy your goods? Right.
Well, it's all going to come down to when it comes
the
to
Nigerian
AI.
Prince will.
He's got money for you. You just need to wire him $10,000 to iTunes. You just need the $10,000 worth of iTunes gift cards.
I haven't heard from him in a long time.
You gave him all those gift cards.
I'm guessing you never got that $1 million for getting him out of jail.
Not yet. Checks in the mail.
But
iTunes gift cards are in the mail.
AI is like any other tool. It's beautiful
good nor
when
bad.
It's used right, and it's evil when it's used wrong.
It's a tool.
And it's interesting and scary and all that. And like I said, I'm old. I don't like change. There's just things that I'm accustomed to. I'm a very patterned person, so this is going to interrupt me and just starting my job was an interruption in my life where I'm at now. Losing this job, I would be pissed because I'm too fat and old to be going back to manual labor. So I'm going to have
entry level jobs.
Oh yeah. I can't go work where my wife works. I'll be asleep, falling asleep in some cheese or something. So, but you guys got anything else before AI takes over this podcast?
It'll be the AI podcast.
All right. Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. We kind of got off a little bit of topic, but AI in video games, where do you really see it? Do you see it as a benefit? Do you think AI can imitate imagination of people well enough in a video game in any point in the next 5 years? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, notifications, all those good things that help keep up to date with us. We'll see you next time. See ya.